He had imprisoned a striking man. He kept him in a dark, silent room. This man would be his personal captive. For 7 days and nights he served him. The man was nearly broken by the torment. He spoke with a faint, ragged breath. The brute needed to release him immediately. He asked if the fool knew his identity. He was Cain, Emperor of the Northern Empire. Liam simply laughed at the absurd claim. He sarcastically called himself a Southern Duke. But Liam truly was a Duke of the South. He had not expected the man's own truth. Cain was indeed the Northern Emperor. He was the world's most feared conqueror. It began with Liam as Cain's rescuer. Though his motive was purely carnal desire, he had seen Cain attacked in an alley. Liam did not know his true station then. He only saw a handsome, powerful man. He ordered his guards to kill the assailants. 3 days later, Cain rested in his estate. His severe injuries were no longer fatal. He offered his thanks to his benefactor. Deep eyes studied Liam with intensity. It was not their first meeting, but Cain's gaze still held sheer wonder. Liam was undeniably an attractive man. He stood tall with broad shoulders. His features were refined and elegant. As a Southern noble, he exuded grace. The man he desired was even more impressive. Cain's frame was broad and muscular. His sharp face was pale from blood loss, but his dark brows conveyed authority. His eyes were like deep, fathomable pools. A kingly aura radiated from him. Even wounded, his presence was overwhelming. Liam's heart pounded in his chest. Their eyes locked in a silent contest. Cain broke the spell first, studying him. Surprise flickered in his sharp gaze. He inquired if his savior preferred men. Liam's hand gently caressed his face. He confessed his specific desire for Cain. A faint blush colored the emperor's cheeks. It was a color that defied his harsh image. Cain suggested they were of a similar mind. He asked Liam to return with him. He promised to treat him well for life. Liam sealed the promise with a soft kiss. He whispered his own promise in return. Cain's breathing became quick and shallow. Liam kissed him again, more deeply now. The emperor responded with a hesitant fire. Liam had been celibate for 2 years. His mother had his previous lovers killed. He had not felt this kind of passion since. The raw desire quickly consumed him. He roughly pushed Cain down onto the bed. The injured man winced in sharp pain. Cain told him he was still too wounded. He asked him to wait for his recovery. Soon, his polite refusal turned to fury. He questioned how Liam dared to dominate. He demanded to know who he thought he was. He swore he would kill the insolent man. Liam overpowered the weakened emperor. Cain's rage was a storm without lightning. His strength was gone, his body broken. Liam had not been with a man in years. This powerful body drove him to madness. The rugged texture of his skin was new. The commanding aura was intoxicating. It was a feeling his past lovers never gave. Liam had always felt inadequate in life, but on top of Cain, he felt powerful. He felt the thrill of conquering the world. He lost all control and restraint. He moved through every position imaginable. Cain's grave injuries became worse. He eventually fell into unconsciousness. When he awoke, he saw Liam holding him. Pure fury erupted from the emperor. He shoved Liam with surprising force. Liam was prepared for the attack. Still, the blow sent him off the bed. Cain roared for him to get out. He tried to rise from the bed. The movement ignited his wounds with pain. He collapsed back onto the mattress. Liam quickly scrambled back to his side. His eyes were red with concern. He urged Cain to remain still. He worried about his injuries reopening. Cain violently slapped his hand away. Liam offered a placating, nervous smile. He asked if Cain disliked his pet name. He admitted it did not fit his image. He explained it was an old habit. He asked for the man's name. Cain cursed at him with venom. He called him a depraved maniac. Liam's good mood finally vanished. He stated he was not some common criminal. He declared himself Cain's new man. Cain retorted no one dared claim him. Liam matched his defiant energy. He was royalty, yet he was being spurned. His own pride was now wounded. He told Cain to stop being ungrateful. Cain shouted at him to leave. Liam reminded him it was his own house. Cain realized his situation. He struggled to stand up again. He was wounded and utterly violated. He rose and fell again and again. Liam watched him coldly from the side. He slowly began to dress himself. Then he called for his personal guard. He could not stand Cain's resistance. His attendant, Stone, entered the room. Stone glanced at the naked man on the bed. He then looked at Liam fastening his belt. The guard quickly lowered his head. He addressed Liam as his lord. Liam ordered him to watch Cain carefully. He then strode out of the room. He had important state affairs to manage. He was Duke Liam of the Southern Marches. He had helped his brother ascend the throne. For his loyalty, he was given the South. But Liam was a terrible administrator. He had no idea how he had helped his brother. He admitted the throne was his anyway. His allegiance just sped up the process. The rich and beautiful South suffered now. In 6 months, he had ruined it. His people were starving and desperate. Felt like he was cursed by fate. Plagues and floods had struck the land. Corrupt officials plundered the treasury. Soon, his brother's decree arrived. It was a sentence of condemnation. The king gave him 3 months. He had to restore the South completely. Failure meant the loss of his title. It also meant the loss of his head. He acted for his people and for himself. He also acted for his beautiful captive. The lazy duke finally began to work. He opened granaries for the hungry. He punished the corrupt officials. He visited the disaster-stricken areas. It did not solve the root problems, but it provided temporary relief for all. It also helped his tarnished reputation. After a week of frantic work, he returned. He did not even stop to bathe. He was covered in dust and grime. He rushed to see his powerful man. Inside the room, Stone stood guard. Cain clutched a blanket to his chest. He watched the guard with weary eyes. When Liam entered, his gaze shifted. Cain's deep eyes watched him warily. His look was a complex mixture. Liam was his savior, yet his violator. The memory of their time was potent. The exquisite feeling was still fresh. Seeing Cain made Liam tremble again. He was filthy from a week of hard travel. But he dove into the bed without a thought. He wrapped his arms around Cain's body. His hands explored the firm muscles. The sensation was still incredible. The men of the South were different. They prized a delicate, slender beauty. They were graceful but lacked true power. None compared to Cain's raw magnetism. His aura could captivate the entire world. Liam confessed how much he missed him. The 7 days felt like an eternity. He moved to kiss the emperor's lips. Cain's expression remained conflicted. It held both tenderness and fury. The door clicked shut behind them. Stone had fled from the tense room. He had served Liam for 10 years. He was always cautious and reserved. He especially feared Liam's gaze on him. Liam found his attendant's fear amusing. He had never been interested in him. Back on the bed, only they remained. Liam tried to kiss Cain, who dodged. He tried to initiate intimacy. Cain responded with fists and kicks. Liam's patience finally wore thin. Cain was stronger, but he was injured. Liam was healthy and full of vigor. The emperor soon lost the struggle. Liam mocked his renewed strength. He said he was finally ready for him. He tied Cain's hands to the headboard. Cain watched him with gritted teeth. He demanded to be on top this time. Liam told him it was impossible. He was a royal duke of the South. His preference for men was already a scandal. He would not debase himself further. Cain told him to release him then. He would not engage in this act. He then noticed a terrible smell. Liam had not bathed in days. The room's air was stale and thick. He smelled his own clothes. It was the source of the foul odor. He remembered falling earlier that day. His horse had thrown him into a field. It had been freshly fertilized. He explained he rushed back for Cain. He whispered that he was his man. He must accept his filth with his love. Cain kicked at him in disgust. Liam used the chance to press forward. Cain's cry was a mix of pain and rage. He screamed that Liam was a dead man. He asked if he knew who he truly was. Cain was an addictive, potent drug. A day without him felt like years. This time, their ordeal lasted 7 days. Liam was ashamed of his own weakness. He faltered multiple times during it. Stone brought him a vial of stimulant. It was a dark liquid, potent and thick. Cain was broken and shattered by then. He still leaned against the headboard. A mocking smile touched his lips. His expression was wild and defiant. It was full of utter contempt. Liam should have been angry at him. But in that moment, he felt a strange guilt. He laughed nervously, lacking confidence. He promised to love him after the drink. Even with his past lovers, he was never this wild. He had never been so utterly reckless. He felt he would die on top of Cain. He would have done so willingly. He was truly close to death himself. In the dark room, his legs trembled. He could barely stand on his own. The act itself was unnatural and harsh. The receiving party suffered the most. Cain lay on the bed, barely breathing. His voice was a mere wisp of air. He called Liam an ignorant fool. He told him to release him at once. He wondered at Liam's sheer audacity. He asked again if he knew his identity. He was Cain, Emperor of the Northern Empire. He had threatened Liam before, but he had never stated his name. He must be desperate from the abuse. He had invented this grand identity. Liam believed he was simply bluffing. He roared with dismissive laughter. He mocked Cain's imperial claim. He sarcastically repeated his own title. Cain closed his eyes in resignation. He seemed unwilling to face an idiot. But Liam was a duke, a noble of the South, and he had just captured an emperor. 2 days later, his estate was invaded. Dark figures moved across the rooftops. They were a silent, deadly black tide. The estate guards were quickly overwhelmed. A long sword pressed against Liam's throat. The leader of the men asked a question. He demanded to know where his emperor was. Liam was utterly confused by this. The man held up a familiar signet ring. It was the one Cain wore on his finger. Liam suddenly remembered a report. Stone had told him of intruders, but his lands were filled with bandits. He had dismissed it as unimportant. He had just taken the stimulant then. A fire was burning inside of him. He had moved Cain to a secret room. He did not want any interruptions. He had dressed Cain before moving him. The ring had been on his hand. Cain must have left it as a clue. It was a way for his men to find him. Liam remembered Cain's weak voice. He had stated he was the Northern Emperor. Liam had thought it was a desperate lie, but it was the terrifying truth. Emperor Cain was a legendary figure. He took the throne at 13. At 15, he executed the regent. He ruled with an iron fist. He developed agriculture and the economy. His nation became rich and powerful. At 18, he began his conquests. He had attacked the South 2 years ago. Liam's father had ceded land for peace. Cain was known for his love of war. He was arrogant and utterly dominant. Nations trembled at the sound of his name. He was only 25 years old, but he was already the world's master. There were other rumors about him. He was said to have a love for men. His court had no queen or concubines. It was filled with handsome male favorites. The domineering aura, the preference for men. The man in his cellar was him. It was undoubtedly the emperor. Liam felt a cold dread wash over him. He was truly cursed by bad fortune. He had kidnapped the world's master. With a sword at his neck, he looked up. Cain was carried out by 4 guards. He wore a new set of dark clothes. The simple robe looked powerful on him. His kingly aura could not be hidden. The procession stopped before Liam. Cain looked down with a cold sneer. He remarked that Liam was a duke. It explained his incredible boldness. He smiled with a cruel, wicked glint. The game was far from over. Now it was Liam's turn to play. On the road to the north, roles reversed. Liam was now a prisoner in a carriage. Cain reclined on soft cushions. He watched Liam with a playful gaze. Liam served him tea with a forced smile. He hoped the emperor would be merciful. Cain noted he made a convincing servant. He subjected Liam to constant humiliation. Liam endured it without complaint. He knew he had made a grave mistake. He fed a piece of melon to Cain. He complimented the emperor's taste. Cain swallowed the sweet fruit. He spoke of his own desires now. He was eager to see Liam serve him. The journey would be long and tedious. He invited Liam to begin his service. Cain's wounds were still not fully healed. He could not take his physical revenge yet, but there were other ways for pleasure. He was satisfied with Liam's efforts. He confessed his earlier dark thoughts. He had wanted to throw Liam to his army. Let the soldiers have their way with him. But now he could not bear the thought. Liam was secretly relieved to hear this. He accepted his current fate. He had forced Cain into this before. Now he was simply repaying his debt. But the emperor was strong and demanding. His hands and mouth ached every day. Yet his efforts were having an effect. One day, Cain sighed after their session. He told Liam to become his consort. He promised he would be treated well. Liam had started to understand Cain. He was domineering but not malicious. He did not hold grudges like a small man. He would either kill an enemy outright, or he would return the violation in kind. He had clearly chosen the second option. Liam knew his life was not in danger. He relaxed his subservient act. He stopped trying so hard to please Cain. When Cain offered him the consort role, he glared before looking in a mirror. His lips were chapped and swollen. He was attracted to the emperor, but this one-sided service was frustrating. He was inflamed with his own desire. Cain's reflection appeared in the mirror. His laughter was deep and husky. He told Liam his recovery was delayed. It was because of Liam's impatience. He advised him to just wait a bit longer. When they reached the palace, he would be pleased. Liam silently cursed him in his mind. He was forced to share a carriage. The days were incredibly difficult. Though he no longer acted as a servant, his hands and mouth were still exhausted. The general, David, often came to report. He always glared at Liam with jealousy. His eyes were like a scorned lover's. That night, they made camp outside. Liam tried to scout for an escape route. The camp was too heavily guarded. He returned to Cain's main tent. He heard David's voice from inside. The general was speaking about Cain's pain. He blamed Liam's carelessness for it. Liam crept closer to the tent. He peered through a carved screen. David's eyes were red with emotion. He reached to undo Cain's trousers. He wanted to apply medicine for him. Cain sharply rebuked his general. He pushed his hand away coldly. He had already told David he was not interested. He warned him not to cross the line again. David knelt on the floor, pale and shaken. He looked at Cain with desperation. He asked why others were allowed. Lowly actors and even married lords. And now this duke who had assaulted him. Why did Cain bring him back to the north? He had loved Cain for 10 long years. Yet the emperor refused to see it. So the general was in love with him. Liam was stunned by the revelation. Such relationships were taboo in the south, but they seemed common in the north. The emperor, the general, a married lord. It was a very complicated affair. He was so engrossed in the drama. He accidentally pushed the screen over. Cain's sharp gaze shot towards him. David's jealous glare followed. Liam rubbed his nose awkwardly. He claimed he was just returning. He said he had not meant to overhear. He suggested David should go rest. Cain dismissed the general coldly. After David left, Liam felt bold. He walked to the main seat in the tent. He poured himself a cup of tea. Before he could drink, Cain shouted. He called Liam by his full name. He accused him of being insolent. Liam froze, then quickly stood up. He explained it was force of habit. He was used to being the master. Cain sneered at his pathetic excuse. He turned and walked towards his bed. He ordered Liam to apply his medicine. Afterward, Liam looked at Cain's body. It was covered in scars, new and old. He felt a surge of genuine guilt. How could he have hurt this man? He sincerely apologized for his actions. Cain laughed without opening his eyes. He asked what he was sorry for. Liam said he should not have forced him. He summoned tears, thinking of sad things. He claimed it was because he loved him. He just could not wait a single moment. Cain opened his eyes slowly. He looked like a waking lion. He said Liam could pay with his life. He would spend it by his side. Liam argued a lifetime was too long. His beauty would fade in a few years. Cain would surely lose interest then. Cain took a sip of tea calmly. He said he was not a fickle person. He would care for Liam in old age. Liam countered that he was a duke. He had his own lands to govern. He proposed a different arrangement. He could be Cain's confidant in the south. They could write letters to each other. They could meet for romantic trysts. Cain looked at him like he was an idiot. He put down his teacup. He had almost forgotten Liam's title. But the South was in utter chaos. He predicted Liam would not be duke for long. He said his brother likely wanted him dead. He offered him sanctuary in the north. He said it would settle their debts. Cain's words were brutally honest. But Liam would rather face execution. It was better than being a male consort. It would bring shame to his family. He pretended to be patriotic. He said he wanted to help his people. Cain watched him with amusement. He listed Liam's recent accomplishments. He asked what other plans he had. Liam's mind was completely blank. He was a man born to privilege, not power. He was forced to travel to the north. The landscape was different from his home. He was fascinated by the new sights. He temporarily forgot he was a captive. The north was warm, even in winter. The mountains were shrouded in mist. The lakes were the color of sapphire. He discovered new and delicious foods. The soldiers ignored his constant chatter. General David often glared at him. Cain, however, seemed amused by it all. He sometimes patted Liam's head gently. After several more days, they arrived. The capital of the north was huge. He saw the legendary Lord Chancellor. Lord Stirling was tall and handsome. He had an air of grace and nobility. He was a man worthy of an emperor's eye. The Chancellor seemed exhausted. His eyes lit up only when he saw Cain. He asked if the emperor had recovered. Cain explained he was ambushed by rivals. He had then been attacked in the south. He had found the traitor in his army. He handed the matter to Sterling. A dark, covered carriage pulled up. Sterling glanced at it with a dark look. He promised to find the mastermind. So Kane's injuries were from a battle, and he was betrayed by his own men. Liam realized he knew nothing at all. He met Sterling's curious gaze. Kane did not introduce them. He drew the carriage curtain closed. It blocked Sterling's disappointed look. Liam sensed a coldness between them. It was not the relationship of rumors. The convoy moved quietly into the city. Liam quickly opened the curtain again. He leaned out the window, excited. He pointed out a street magician. He saw a man tossing a bouquet. He exclaimed at all the handsome men. He told Kane the men here were beautiful. He understood the culture now. Kane, who had been smiling, sighed. He rubbed his temples in frustration. Liam then smelled delicious pastries. He ordered David to go buy some. The general glared at him angrily, but a look from Kane sent him away. Sterling watched Liam with astonishment. Inside the palace, a chief eunuch waited. Kane said he had duties to attend to. He told Liam to rest in the Phoenix Palace. He squeezed Liam's earlobe playfully. He told him his wounds were healed now. He promised to visit him that night. Liam's face changed at the threat. Kane laughed and walked away. The eunuch, Wesley, bowed to Liam. He explained the Phoenix Palace's importance. It was traditionally the Queen's residence. No other favorite had received this honor. He said Liam was special to the Emperor. Liam interrupted his flattery. He said the Emperor disliked women. The palace was likely just empty. Wesley insisted it was a great honor. He said the Emperor's visit was significant. He offered to send tutors to Liam. They would teach him the ways of men. Liam finally stopped him. He asked about the titles used here. Wesley's face paled in alarm. He warned Liam not to use Kane's name. The Emperor was tolerant, but also lethal. He then asked for Liam's name. He explained favorites were called Lord. Liam told him to use his title instead. He was Duke Liam of the Southern Marches. He had saved the Emperor's life. He was a guest, not a male consort. He dismissed Wesley at the palace. He also sent away the tutors. He was too tired and agitated to rest. He decided to explore the palace grounds. He found a young swordsman practicing. The boy was skilled and handsome. Liam wanted to ask for lessons, but the swordsman had a cold aura. He seemed unapproachable and dangerous. Later, he found an actor singing. The voice was beautiful and clear. He thought it was a young woman. He listened, completely captivated. The singer noticed him and stopped. A deep, magnetic voice spoke instead. He noted the Emperor found a new favorite. He asked for Liam's name. It was a man, another of Kane's lovers. Liam awkwardly introduced himself as Duke. The actor smiled and said he was a lord. He then asked Liam's age. He wanted to know who was senior. Liam told him to take the honor. The man became offended by this. He thought Liam was mocking his age. He complained the Emperor rarely visited. Just then, two other men appeared. One complained they never saw the Emperor. They lamented their difficult lives. They saw Liam as new competition. Palace maid then arrived. She said the Emperor was waiting for him. She said Kane came early for dinner. He was worried Liam disliked the food. The other men groaned in unison. That night, red candles lit the room. Liam wore a forced red robe. He sat on the bed, tossing grapes. Kane arrived and dismissed the servants. He asked if Liam was hungry. Liam said he was not. He asked if he was thirsty. Liam said he was not. He then asked about using the restroom. Liam played dumb with his words. Kane's sharp gaze silenced him. The emperor began to undress slowly. He said they should not waste the night. Liam scrambled away from him. Cain told him to stop acting coy. He reminded Liam of his own violence. He grabbed Liam's leg to pull him back. A physical struggle began again. But a healthy Cain was much stronger. He pinned Liam down easily. His kiss was as fierce as he was. Liam was dizzy and overwhelmed. He gathered his strength to bite him. But Cain pulled away at that moment. Liam bit his own tongue instead. He cried out in pain and shock. Blood filled his mouth instantly. He spat it out all over Cain's face. The emperor froze for a second. He then shouted for the royal physician. The doctor treated Liam's tongue. As soon as he left, Cain exploded. He accused Liam of trying to kill himself. Liam did not correct his assumption. He said he could not be a consort. His speech was slurred from the injury. Cain asked him for a reason. Liam posed a question in return. He asked if Cain would be his consort. Cain roared that he was an emperor. He could never serve another man. Liam smiled sadly through his pain. He said he was a southern duke. He could not serve Cain either. Cain was furious at his hypocrisy. He reminded Liam of his past actions. He had not cared for Cain's consent. Now he was claiming virtue himself. Liam said he did not know his identity. If he had known, he would never dare. This was his fault, he knew that. He knelt on the bed before Cain. He offered a sincere, solemn apology. Cain's expression shifted rapidly. Finally, he stormed out of the room. For half a month, Cain did not return. Liam was happy with the solitude. Being a consort was not an option. It would dishonor him and his country. He explored the palace freely. He told everyone he was Cain's savior. He insisted he was an honored guest. He denied the rumors of being a consort. The other men slowly warmed up to him. They invited him to play cards. The young swordsman still trained alone. But Liam became friends with the others. One night, after winning some money, a consort named Asher invited him for a drink. Asher confessed he was still a virgin. The emperor had never touched him. He had hoped his feminine nature would appeal. But Cain preferred more assertive men. He said Liam was kind and charming. He confessed his admiration for him. He wished he had met Liam years ago. He cried, hiding his face in his hands. He was still technically the emperor's man. Liam felt a pang of pity for him. He pulled the beautiful man into a hug. He comforted him with gentle words. He was not a fickle man himself. His heart already belonged to Cain. He only felt compassion for Asher. But as he left, he felt guilty. It was like he had betrayed Cain. He wondered if Cain had forgotten him. He decided to go to Cain's residence. The private quarters were empty, but the administrative hall was lit. He snuck inside and hid himself. Cain was at his desk working. He looked focused and powerful. He was more captivating than ever. Wesley, the eunuch, served him tea. He urged the emperor to rest soon. Cain said he would finish his work. He then asked Wesley about Liam. Liam almost answered out loud. He quickly covered his own mouth. Wesley reported on Liam's activities. He mentioned the card games and drinking. Cain snorted with some amusement. He said Liam would take over his palace. He then became more serious. He told Wesley to watch Asher. He was a gift from a rival prince. That prince had tried to have Cain killed. Sterling's investigation had confirmed it. Suddenly, a heavy cat jumped on Liam. It let out a loud, angry meow. Liam yelped in surprise. Wesley called out, asking who was there. Cain immediately identified the voice. Liam's cover was completely blown. He stepped out from behind the screen. The cat trotted over to Wesley. Liam awkwardly complimented the animal. He said it was good at catching dukes. Cain's sharp eyes stared at him coldly. Wesley took the cat and excused himself. Liam tried to leave as well. Cain's voice stopped him, cold as ice. He did not dare to disobey. Cain mocked him for drinking. He accused him of abusing his status. He ordered Liam to grind his ink. He still had much work to do. It grew very late into the night. Liam ground the ink stick slowly. His eyelids felt incredibly heavy. He kept nodding off as he stood there. He vaguely heard Cain say something. He mumbled a sleepy agreement. He did not realize what was happening until he was on a bed with Cain over him. He woke up with a sudden jolt. He and Cain fought on the royal bed. Cain remembered his suicide attempt. He did not force the issue this time. He pulled back, his eyes burning. His face was a mask of frustration. He gritted his teeth in anger. He said he had tolerated enough. He reminded Liam who started this. He had been the one to make the first move. Liam considered apologizing again, but Cain turned away from him. His voice was low and defeated. He suggested they both compromise. He would send envoys to the south. He would formally ask for Liam's hand. He proposed a political marriage. Liam was stunned by the idea. He thought Cain had lost his mind. It was a blatant insult to his family. Cain turned back with an arrogant smile. He said he would offer great rewards. He was sure Liam's brother would agree. Liam felt a genuine flicker of fear. He told the emperor he was insane. Cain was indeed insane and determined. He kept Liam in his private quarters. He no longer forced himself on him. Instead, he began to court him. He set aside his imperial pride. He catered to Liam's needs. But Liam knew his ultimate goal. He still wanted to possess him. He refused Cain's advances. Cain's anger finally erupted. He asked what Liam was protecting. The entire world thought he was a consort. What was the point of his chastity? Liam stubbornly replied he knew the truth. That was all that mattered to him. His conscience was clear. He could face his ancestors without shame. Cain laughed a bitter, angry laugh. He got out of bed and went to work. Sounds of frustration came from his desk. He complained about everything. Wesley served him with trembling hands. Trapped in the palace, Liam was bored. He usually slept while Cain worked. One day he overheard Sterling's voice. The chancellor called Cain's plan absurd. Giving back land and grain for one man. He said the South would not dare complain. Why offer them such generous terms? Liam was shocked by the details. His father had given up that land. Now Cain was returning it willingly. The grain would save his starving people. No wonder Cain was so confident. He was no longer sleepy. He rose and looked out through a screen. Cain sat behind his large desk. He looked at Sterling calmly. He wanted Liam to forget the South. He wanted him to stay in the North. He wanted him to stay by his side. Sterling looked at his emperor intently. He asked if this time it was real love. Cain did not answer the question. He tossed a box to the chancellor. He congratulated him on his new son. Sterling's face turned pale. He knelt on the floor in silence. Cain dismissed him and returned to work. A voice startled Liam from his thoughts. Cain was standing right beside him. Liam looked up from the couch. He asked if Cain truly liked him. He was willing to give up so much. Cain snorted and confirmed it. Liam then asked him to listen. He stood up to face the emperor. He said he did not want to be confined. He also would not be a consort. He would never marry him either. His blood and his title forbade it. He told Cain he felt the same way. He wanted to be his partner. They could love each other as equals. They would be partners, not master and servant. He asked if Cain understood him. He would never have said this before. But now he knew his own worth to Cain. Perhaps he had the right to ask. The emperor had likely never heard this. No man had ever dared to speak so. Cain looked at him in total shock. Liam simply held his gaze. Cain no longer restricted his freedom, but he could not leave the capital. As for his other demands, Cain needed time. He also made demands of his own. Liam could not play cards with the consorts. He could not drink in their palaces. He was afraid Liam would steal them away. The thought made Liam want to laugh. With his new freedom, he felt bored. He decided to visit Lord Stirling. He first visited General David's home. A knife flew past his head, cut off a lock of his hair. He decided not to bother the general. Stirling was more interesting anyway. He disliked Liam but was always polite. At Stirling's home, he learned something new. The new baby was his third son. Liam apologized for bringing only one gift. He promised to make up for it. Stirling did not like discussing his sons. His face became tight and pale. He excused himself to handle business. Liam was puzzled by his reaction. What father disliked his own children? He snuck onto the roof to investigate. The three boys were healthy and cute. Stirling was a very strange man. His curiosity grew with each visit. He learned more about the Chancellor. He was respected by everyone. He had the Emperor's trust. He worked tirelessly day and night. He was brilliant, talented, and skilled. The more Liam knew, the worse he felt. He felt completely useless in comparison. How could Cain even look at him? Stirling was the standard he could not meet. On his way back, he saw a girl. She was selling a tiger pelt. She needed money for her sick father. The price was too high for anyone. Liam only had a few silver coins. He walked away, but felt pity. He turned back towards Stirling's manor. He knew officials would be there now. He ran through the hall shouting. He complained about being cold. He said a tiger pelt would be perfect. Outside, the officials' servants gathered. Two small boys walked past them. They talked about the girl selling the pelt. The servants all asked where she was. The boys stayed silent, smiling. The servants offered them copper coins. The boys then revealed the location. They ran to Liam, their eyes shining. He gave them both candy sticks. The servants swarmed the poor girl. They began to outbid each other fiercely. The price quickly rose to a high sum. One servant was particularly arrogant, but another man kept raising the price. That man was one Liam had hired. He kept looking to Liam for signals. The final price was 600 silver. It was an absurd amount for one pelt. Later, Liam met the man he hired. He gave him his last 5 silver coins. The man was a former bandit. He had tried to rob Liam before. He was amazed by Liam's business sense. He offered to work for him. Liam just smiled and walked away. The palace had a natural hot spring. Cain was about to take a bath. He saw Liam and invited him to join. Cain had been respectful recently. They slept in the same bed platonically. Liam saw no reason to be shy. But then Cain removed his clothes. His powerful body gleamed in the water. The sight made Liam's nose bleed. Cain called him pathetic with a laugh. Wesley brought a clean cloth. Cain gently wiped the blood away. Liam tried not to look at Cain's body. The warm water was relaxing. He heard Cain speak beside him. He warned him to stay away from Stirling. Liam felt a surge of jealousy. Cain explained that Stirling disliked him. He then asked what Liam knew. Liam recited the Chancellor's reputation. He was known as wise and loyal. Cain said that was only half the story. The real Stirling was ruthless. He had helped Cain secure the throne. His hands were clean, but his path was bloody. Even Cain was wary of him sometimes. Liam said he already knew that. He was no match for the chancellor. Cain looked at him with a serious gaze. He asked if Liam was jealous. Liam did not answer the question. Cain laughed, his mood improving. He then decided to tell him everything. He would explain his history with Sterling. He said they grew up together. Cain was an unloved prince. Sterling was from a fallen noble family. They found comfort in each other. They became lovers at 17. They were together for 5 years. Then Sterling's mother demanded an heir. He had reached the peak of his career. He wanted a family to carry his legacy. He asked Cain to end their relationship. Cain agreed without any argument. But Sterling regretted it soon after. He came back, begging for forgiveness. He knelt outside the palace all night. Cain asked if he had refused him. Cain took a drink of wine. He said the relationship was already over. For him, there was no going back. Sterling's sons were a source of his pain. They were a reminder of his mistake. Cain then explained the other consorts. Some were political gifts. One was an assassin he had spared. The actor reminded him of his own mother. He was the only one he had been with. Cain then turned the question to Liam. He asked about his own romantic history. Liam said he was very loyal. He only had 2 lovers before. Cain raised an eyebrow at that. Liam explained they were twin brothers. He could not tell them apart at first. By the time he could, it was too late. His mother found out about them. She had them beaten to death before him. He was powerless to protect them. The happy mood from the bath was gone. He got out and started drinking heavily. Cain joined him on the side. They passed the bottle back and forth. When it was empty, Cain spoke. He told Liam he should go into business. Liam stared at him, stunned. Cain praised his skill with the tiger pelt. He said he needed something to do. The profits would be his alone. Cain would cover any of his losses. Liam was sober in an instant. At 15, he had wanted to be a merchant. His mother had been furious with him. She called it a degrading profession. She was the most powerful woman in court. He had always been afraid of her. But he knelt outside her door all night. She had his childhood friend arrested. She threatened to torture him. Liam had immediately given up his dream. Now tears welled in his eyes. He asked Cain if he was serious. Cain wiped the tears from his face. He said all professions were important. He told Liam he had a gift for it. He might become a legendary merchant. Cain said he hated seeing him doubt himself. He wanted him to be like Sterling, powerful support at his side. Liam said he could never compare. Cain looked at him with deep affection. He whispered that Liam was better. He called him by a new pet name. Liam felt a strange warmth spread. Cain's gentleness was disarming. He found himself telling Cain everything. About his ambitious, cruel mother. About his own lack of ambition. About how he betrayed her for his brother. He helped the new king take the throne. In exchange for his mother's life. She was sent to a monastery. She had screamed curses at him. She accused him of loving the new king. The new king was furious. He banished Liam to the south. It was a gift and a punishment. Liam laughed loudly at the memory. He told Cain his mother's accusation. Cain sat on the bed listening. He said Liam did not love that king. He only loved this emperor. Liam smiled and agreed with him. He moved closer and embraced Cain. The familiar feeling returned. His body grew hot with desire. He told Cain he had waited long enough. Cain remained still, like a monk, but his voice was thick with passion. He said he had one condition. Liam grew impatient with the delay. Cain said he required complete fidelity. He would dismiss his own consorts. He expected the same from Liam. He mentioned Asher's confession. Liam eagerly began to undress him. He said he could be loyal, but could an emperor do the same? He would need an heir for the throne. Cain said he could adopt a relative. He already had someone in mind. He told Liam not to worry about it. He then mentioned one last problem. Liam was getting very annoyed. Cain looked at him with a sly grin. It was about the positions in bed. Liam hastily made a suggestion. Whoever was stronger could be on top. Cain smiled and agreed to it. Liam felt like he fell into a trap, but he was too desperate to care. Cain's powerful body finally joined his. The consequences were days in bed. Cain, however, was full of energy. He worked during the day. At night, he held Liam tenderly. He planned to make the swordsman Liam's guard. Liam's eyes lit up at the idea. He realized his strategic error. Cain was much stronger than him. He would always be on the bottom. With the guard, he could train. He could get stronger and turn the tables. Cain saw through him and chuckled. Liam asked for the other consorts too. He needed people for his new business. Cain reluctantly agreed to it. He then said he would still return the land. The grain would also be sent as a gift. Liam sat up, confused by this. He thought that offer was for a marriage. Cain said it was for a partnership. He was doing it for Liam. That land was not won in battle. He considered Liam's family his own. He could not take their land in good conscience. Liam asked if there was a catch. Cain smiled at him gently. He wanted to make Liam a king, the winged king of the north. He would fly high at Cain's side. 3 years passed in the north. The winged king was no longer a fledgling. He had become a powerful eagle. He was not just the emperor's partner. He was the king of a vast commercial empire. The people of the north respected him. Cain's military victories were his own. But Liam provided the endless funds. The nation prospered because of them. He had truly become Cain's right hand. He had fulfilled Cain's prophecy. But he felt a growing restlessness. Cain's love was a beautiful cage. The sky of the north was too small. An eagle needed the whole world to fly. That night, after their lovemaking, he told Cain he needed to travel. He had a major business deal in the south. Cain was silent for a long moment. He asked how long he would be gone. Liam said at least 6 months. He also had to visit his mother. News had come that she had lost her mind. Cain simply asked when he would leave. He told him the day after tomorrow. On the day of his departure, Cain adjusted the cloak around him. He told Liam to bring his mother back. He said he knew about her condition. He would ensure the Southern King agreed. He would offer more land if needed. He then turned away abruptly. He ordered the guards to protect Liam. Then he walked away without looking back. Liam saw him on the city walls, a powerful silhouette watching him go. Returning to the south was strange. It had been years since he left. Cain's generous treaty had saved his honor. Their partnership was seen as legendary. His brother had retained his title. He simply collected the income now. He asked to take his mother away. His brother readily agreed to it. He spent months reconnecting with family. Business and banquets filled his days. More than 6 months had passed. One day, a letter from Cain arrived. It was a line of simple poetry. The flowers are blooming on the path. You may return home at your leisure. Liam smiled at the tender words. His younger brother invited him to stay, but Liam politely declined the offer. He would leave for the north tomorrow. The south was the land of his birth, but the north was his final destination. It was his home. His lover was waiting there for him.